Oh, okay. The subcommittee will come to order. Good morning, everyone. Believe it or not, I'm actually excited to be here today for our third subcommittee markup, the 118th Congress, and today we're going to be marking up 10 bills, several of which I will be asking unanimous consent to consider in block. All these bills have had legislative hearings this Congress and in this subcommittee. I'm supportive of today's agenda as they're important measures, the bills on today's agenda as they're important measures that should garner bipartisan support. And I hope everyone on the subcommittee will support these bills as we move forward in the process. In accordance with committee rules, the subcommittee has contacted the Congressional Budget Office seeking informal preliminary cost estimates for each of the bills being considered today. Many of these preliminary scores are only a range of potential costs because the subcommittee has still not received official cost estimates on the bills from the CBO. None of the bills today include the offsets that will be necessary to move the bills forward, so let's keep that in mind. However, as we discuss what bills will be considered at full committee markup, at which bills may get consideration on the House floor, we'll need to find offsets to ensure that we are in accordance with the House rules and are not passing legislation increasing the debt and burden for the American taxpayers. I look forward to working with the ranking member and other members of the subcommittee to find reasonable offsets for these important bills. I also want to say that there's still multiple opportunities to improve and make necessary changes to these bills. The ranking member and I will continue to work with our colleagues on the committee and any stakeholders that have feedback on these bills as we continue to work through the legislative process. I'm proud of the nonpartisan work the subcommittee continues to do, and I believe that these bills that we're going to consider today truly reflect that process. One of the bills that we're considering today is my bill, which will require the VA to create a website with the most up-to-date training materials for school certifying officials. It would also make it easier for schools to provide information to a veteran who is weighing their education opportunities. This is important because without this fix, schools would have to continue giving information to veterans that they know may be inaccurate because they are required to do so by law. Will you turn that off? Whatever's beeping, thank you, it's all right. I look forward to, tell your mom hi for me. I look forward to working with the ranking member on this bill and the other bills being marked up today to ensure that we're doing the right thing by our veterans. I now recognize the distinguished ranking member for any opening comments you may have.
I thank the distinguished chairman. It's a pleasure to meet once again to advance a number of important bills onto the full committee. I am so proud that we're continuing this work to deliver results for those who have served our nation. We're doing so in a nonpartisan way. Today we're going to consider 10 bills on our agenda. I want to thank the chairman for including my legislation, HR 6193, the Veterans Assistance for Loan Origination Relief, or VALOR Act, another great acronym. Love these acronyms. In today's markup. As I mentioned 2 weeks ago in our legislative hearing, this bill addresses an issue raised by a constituent of mine. This individual made our office aware of a loophole whereby he and other disabled veterans have missed out on their earned fee exemption. Our office responded, wrote the VALOR Act, and now the bill is moving one step closer to law. And as I said a couple weeks ago, that's how Congress is supposed to work. And if any constituents out there are listening or watching, I hope that you contact our office with your concerns. There's no greater honor and duty than representing our constituents in Congress, and I want to thank my constituent for bringing that particular issue forward. Elsewhere on the agenda, I understand our staff continue working to refine many of the other bills we plan to advance today, and I plan to vote in support of those measures so we can reach a final agreement in full committee. I wish to express concern with one of the bills on the agenda, HR 5913, which would move the functions of DOL vets to VA. In our subcommittee hearing 2 weeks ago, we heard near universal opposition to this measure from the administration, VSOs, labor unions, and small businesses. I understand the chairman's frustration with the agency. I truly do. And I don't think DOL vets is perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but I do believe this committee deserves prompt responses from federal agencies. But closing an agency or wholesale reorganization, I think, should be the last resort rather than the first. For example, we're considering HR 3738, which would create a fourth administration at VA. I'm a co-lead of this bill, which we've been working on for 5 years. My good friend, Mr. Wenstrup, very sorry to hear he's going to be leaving the Congress, but hopefully we'll keep working on this for the next 13 months or so. That would create a fourth administration at VA. I'm not saying I would never support a restructuring at DOL vets, but I believe that this particular bill is premature and thus can't support it. I know the chairman only wants the best for our veterans. I just believe we can do that with such a dramatic action as closing DOL vets down. So, Mr. Chairman, I look forward to working with you on improving the performance of DOL vets. It's got to improve, and seeing our goals here today achieved in a law. I sincerely thank the chairman, and I want to thank the staff, both majority and minority staff, for their hard work and for working together on all of this. And I'll yield back.
Thank you, sir. I now ask unanimous consent to consider and block the following bills that do not have amendments: H.R. 522, H.R. 3610, H.R. 3738, H.R. 5914, and H.R. 5956. Excuse me, H.R. 3601. I stand corrected. Hearing no objection, so ordered. The clerk shall report the bills.
HR 522, to amend Title 38
The
United...
bills were circulated in advance pursuant to committee rules. I ask the reading of the bills be dispensed with and bills open to amendment at any point. Without objection, so ordered. Does any member wish to speak on any of the bills included in block? Hearing none. The question now occurs on agreeing, does any member wish to offer any amendments to these bills? Hearing none, other than that sneeze, bless you. The question now occurs on agreeing to the bills included in the end block. All those in favor say aye. All opposed say no. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid upon the table. I now recognize Mr. Levin for a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that H.R. 522, H.R. 3601, H.R. 3738, H.R. 5914, and H.R. 5956 be forwarded favorably to the full committee.
There's a motion to favorably forward the bills included in this end block. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it, and the bills are favorably forwarded to the full committee. I now ask unanimous consent to consider and block the following bills that have an amendment in the nature of a substitute: H.R. 3722 and H.R. 5785. Hearing no objection, so ordered. The clerk shall report the bills.
Amendment in the nature of a substitute to HR 3722.
The bills were circulated in advance pursuant to committee rules. I ask the reading of the bills be dispensed with and the bills be open to amendment at any point. Without objection, so ordered. Does any member wish to speak on any of the bills included in the end block? I recognize myself for a brief moment to say that I appreciate the efforts of the gentleman from Iowa bringing this bill forward to our subcommittee and bringing attention to the issue of veteran suicide. The issue is a priority for me, and I believe that this bill would help ensure that attention is being given to the issue during transition and after our service members leave the military. I want to do everything I can and we can to raise the awareness on this issue and ensure that it continues to be a priority for the VA. Do any members wish to comment on the end block? There are amendments in the nature of the substitute to both these bills that are considered base text for the purpose of markup. Without objection, so ordered. Does any member wish to offer an amendment to either the amendment in the nature of a substitute? Okay, hearing none, the question now occurs on agreeing to the amendments in the nature of a substitute, including the end block. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid upon the table. I now recognize Mr. Levin for a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that H.R. 3722 as amended and H.R. 5785 as amended be forwarded favorably to the full committee.
There is a motion to favorably forward the bills as amended included in the end block. All those in favor say aye. All opposed say no. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it, and the bills are favorably forwarded to the full committee. I now call up H.R. 2830, the Veteran Improvement Commercial Driver License Act of 2023. The clerk shall report the bill.
HR 2830, to amend Title 38 United States Code
The bill was circulated in advance pursuant to committee rules, and without objection, the first reading is dispensed with, and the bill is open for amendment at any point. The clerk shall report the bill. I ask unanimous consent that further reading of the bill be dispensed with. Hearing no objection, so ordered. I know. I saw that, Kate. We're going to work on that, aren't we? I recognize myself for a brief comment on the bill. At our subcommittee hearing in the bill, witnesses raised some concern with this bill being used to establish branch campuses across state lines, and I understand that. I wanted to ensure that any campus that is established to serve veterans would have adequate safeguards. We're going to continue to work with the stakeholders to ensure that appropriate safeguards are put in place as we move this bill forward. Do any members wish to comment on the bill HR 2830?
Mr. Chairman.
I recognize the ranking member.
Mr. Chairman, while I plan to support advancing HR 2830 today, I understand our staff continue working to ensure the ability of state approving agencies to approve or disapprove programs is not impacted. So I look forward to improving upon this bill in full committee, and I yield back.
Very well, duly noted. No amendments were filed. Do any members wish to offer an amendment? Hearing none, I now recognize Mr. Levin for a motion.
I move that HR 2830 is forwarded favorably to the full committee.
There's a motion to favorably forward HR 2830. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say no. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it, and HR 2830 is favorably forwarded to the full committee. The next item on the agenda is HR 5913, the Consolidating Veteran Employment Services for Improved Performance Act of 2023. I've heard a lot of concerns, including by the ranking member, concerning this, and I'm going to pull this now. And I spoke to Mr. Franklin about this. He has concerns also, and in the spirit of nonpartisanship, even though I submitted this, I'm going to get this back. Our staffs are going to work together so we can make this right and tight, because 3 out of the 4 major employers, or the largest employers of veterans in the entire nation, acknowledge that they haven't even heard of this yet. So we got to do something better. But I really mean what I say to the gentlelady and the gentleman and over here. I respect your opinions tremendously, so we're not going to discuss this today. Is that all right with you guys? Yep. You cool? Juan? All right, man. Moving on. I now call up HR 6193. The clerk shall report the bill.
HR 6193, to amend Title 38 United States Code to waive the fee for a housing loan guaranteed by the Secretary.
The bill was circulated in advance pursuant to the committee rules and without objection. The first reading is dispensed with, and the bill is open for amendment at any point. I ask unanimous consent that further reading of the bill be dispensed with. Hearing no objection, so ordered. I now recognize the ranking member.
Mr. Chairman, thank you for considering this measure. The VALOR Act would improve access to homeownership for transitioning service members with disabilities. Currently, some transitioning service members postpone using the VA home loan benefit until after they receive their disability rating so they can avoid paying the funding fee, while others close on a home before receiving their rating, often because they erroneously believe they'll be refunded the fee later. My bill would ensure that service members with a pending pre-discharge claim at the time of closing on their home can receive a refund if they later receive a disability rating. In doing so, it will support those transitioning service members in setting a strong foundation for their civilian lives. I urge support for the VALOR Act and yield back.
Do any members wish to comment on the bill HR 6193? No amendments were filed. Does any member wish to offer an amendment? Hearing none, I now recognize Mr. Levin for a motion.
I move that HR 6193 is forwarded favorably to the full committee.
There's a motion to favorably forward HR 6193. All those in favor say aye. All opposed say no. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. HR 6193 is favorably forwarded to the full committee. I ask unanimous consent that the committee staff be authorized to make technical, clerical, and conforming changes to the bills favorably forwarded today. Hearing no objection, so ordered. Before I close out, hey, Matt, where's okay, come here. Hey, Mr. Ramirez, I would like to formally thank you and acknowledge the fact that you are the most prompt member of this committee, showing up on time with a smile on your face consistently. These are Wisconsin cheese curds. And so what are we learning today? You know what I mean? There's a saying in the Navy, it's good deals for good seals. And you did it. So thank you very much. I thank members for their
lesson learned, be on time.
That's right, be on time. Hey, you know what? You guys are here early, get cheese curds. That's what we know. I thank the members for their attendance today. The subcommittee is now adjourned.